A poor girl applied to more than 15 companies for a job but failed in all of them. Fate finally favors her after a heroic act in which she helps a witch defeat a giant ice monster. This leads the company's founder to offer her a job. To know the full story, watch the summary until the end to find out everything. Our first episode of this anime begins with a large explosion in the city, where we see a huge monster attacking a young witch named Hitomi. She says, "I love a big prey because killing it means a lot of money." She then asks her bike driver to speed up a bit to maintain distance from the monster so it doesn't eat them. The driver requests that she handle it and kill the monster herself. Hitomi uses her magic invoking spell model number 5 and unleashes an extremely powerful force from her magic staff. She flies into the air and strikes the monster with a very powerful blow, defeating it. Hitomi tells us which girls are strong and agile. Every girl wants to become like them because they are very famous and receive good salaries. Their main duty is to exterminate creatures called Kaii, as the increase in Kaii creatures over the years has caused a boom in the witch girls industry, with over 500 witch girls companies for this work. The scene then shifts to Hitomi at the company, where the employee, Kaii, informs her that there are no more motorcycles available. Hitomi gets angry at him because her bike was destroyed and tells him that the new magic device is difficult to use. Kaii informs her that she has been working hard lately and they want her to rest. So after speaking to the company's president, they decided to hire a new graduate because the president was upset by her exhaustion from work. Hitomi is delighted with this news and tells him that she wants a brave girl with the courage to work in a startup company like theirs. The scene then shifts to a beautiful girl named Kana Sakuragi, who is in a job interview with 3 executives. She introduces herself to them, explaining her strengths. She's hardworking, always conducts research, plans meticulously in advance, and is prepared for any situation. One of the executives asked her how she could apply these strengths to their field of entertainment. Kana responds by saying she is aware that the company has plans to build entertainment parks in India, where the entertainment industry has been booming in the 21st century. However, considering the costs, the profits come only from ticket sales, and she has also thought about the issue of religion. Therefore, she can thoroughly research these areas. The executive tells her that he is impressed by her strengths, and that they will contact her later regarding their hiring decision. After leaving the company, Kana says that this was the 15th company she had interviewed with and failed. She then stumbles and falls to the ground. The scene cuts back to the company executives, who are amazed by Kana's knowledge of their plans for the amusement parks in India. A colleague mentions that she might have found out from the interview they conducted with the Indian journalist, as Kana had translated the interview and learned about those details. Next, we see Kana entering a restaurant to rest a bit before her next interview. 3 customers are ordering food, but the waitress forgets their order. The manager scolds her, telling her she is incapable of working and has forgotten the customer's orders. Kana steps in and says that she remembers what the customers ordered and proceeds to tell them again. Everyone is surprised because Kana accurately recited everything. We then see Kana sitting, drinking her beverage, looking sad and thinking about her next job interview. The next interview is with a finance company, and she realizes she needs to review her notes about the company. The scene shifts to Inoquiso Finance Company, where the president is talking to his assistant, asking about the temperature in the interview room. The assistant tells him the room is always cold. The president then mentions that they are supposed to conduct annual inspections to check high levels, but it's quite expensive. They enter the room and it's freezing cold. The president points out that maintenance workers often skip checking the rarely used rooms, which could lead to Kaii appearing in those less used rooms. If a Kaii appears in one of them, they would be in serious trouble. They would. After leaving the room, we see something strange on the ceiling. It seems like a monster is lurking. A little later, everyone is gathered in the interview room, feeling cold. The president asks Kana why she applied for the job, but suddenly, the ceiling collapses and a Kaii creature appears. Everyone panics and tries to flee. The president orders his assistant to call a witch immediately. The assistant pulls out his phone and starts contacting a company to deal with the Kaii creatures. The scene then shifts to Hitomi and Katie, where Hitomi asks him, "Won't you be out making sales?" Katie responds that he stays to handle requests when the president is away. The phone rings and a man on the line tells him that he needs a witch to exterminate a Kaii creature and asks them to come immediately. Hitomi rushes off, telling Katie to send her the address. She heads to the rooftop, activates her magical powers, changes her clothes, and is ready to fight the Kaii. The screen shows that the Kai's location is very close by. Hitomi flies into the sky and rushes toward the finance company. Upon arriving, she asks the president why it is so cold here. He tells her that the Kaii creature is one of ice, and when Hitomi opens the door, she finds the room completely frozen with a massive Kaii inside. She quickly closes the door and informs him that defeating such a large creature isn't possible with just one witch. Taking down a monster of that size requires 2 witches standing in front of the door. Hitomi is unsure of what to do in this difficult situation, as she can't handle it alone. She contacts Katie, who tells her that it would take at least 30 minutes for the next available company to send another witch for help. By that time, it would be too late. Hitomi explains that she could destroy the Kaii with one powerful strike, but that would result in the complete destruction of the company. Alternatively, if she continues using small magical attacks, she will run out of ammunition. Hitomi then asks everyone for help, telling them she will fire small, quick magical shots, but will need a lot of ammunition to prevent the monster from retaliating. She needs one person to assist her by refilling her ammunition at the right time. Everyone is too scared and refuses. Suddenly, Kana speaks up, offering her help. She approaches Hitomi, who hands her an electronic device. Hitomi explains that she will enter the frozen room, and Kana must monitor the ammunition gauge on the device. When it drops to 50, she must press the reload button. Hitomi and Kana then enter the frozen room, where Hitomi starts using her magic, firing several quick small attacks at the monster while Kana closely monitors the ammunition level. Kana looks at the electronic device and tells Hitomi that she thinks she is using the wrong type of ammunition. The device indicates it's set to rapid type, but the Shy isn't moving, suggesting these settings might be from a previous mission. Hitomi remembers the last extermination and says, "Yes, this magic device is terrible, I won't use it again." Kinda suggests changing the ammunition and reloading it, saying she knows how to do it, because she once applied for a job at a software company and remembers how it works, he told me. Impressed tells Kana that she admires her a lot and promises to protect her for the rest of her life. She thanks Kana for her help and asks her to go ahead with the adjustments. Hitomi asks Kana to switch to multiple fixed Kaii strikes and set the number of strikes to 100. Kana successfully makes the changes, but the monster retaliates with multiple strikes at them. Hitomi quickly grabs Kana, protecting her and dodging the Kai's attacks. Once the ammunition is fully loaded, Hitomi unleashes a massively powerful magical strike on the monster, finally defeating it. Afterward, Kana feels exhausted, and he told me to ask if she's okay. Kana reassures her, saying she's fine but incredibly happy to have finally felt useful. He told me to thank her once again, and they both celebrated their success. Our episode picks up where we left off last time, where the eccentric leader named Shigemoto meets and welcomes Sako. He introduces everyone. That handsome boy is Katie from the sales department, and the girl with him is Kushigaya. Then the leader turns to Nikoyama, calling him over and welcoming Kana, the new girl. However, Nikoyama is too busy and doesn't want anyone to break his concentration because he's gathering data. He's a tactical operative in strategic intelligence. The leader apologizes, explaining that Nikoyama is in focus mode, then takes him away. This surprises Sakuragi a lot, and she wonders aloud what's up with these weird people. Kate apologizes to her for the commotion and hands her a flying vacuum cleaner. It's her first training session. Sakuragi is very surprised, but Kaii reassures her not to worry as this is their primary mode of transportation. And that's not all, it also allows her to download and modify programs. Sakuragi talks to herself, saying maybe I'll ride it first and then resign from this crazy company. Since the company is new and has no deep roots, it doesn't train the students much. But in just a few days, she can start as a magical girl quickly. She can even start today if she trains on that vacuum cleaner. Then Kaii comes to her with more than 50 books, telling her these are the flying vacuum cleaner's instructions. Sakuragi is extremely shocked and her face shows great tension, but Kida tells her not to be surprised. This broom is her tool of the trade, and she needs to know how to use it, or else she'll die instantly. Then Kushigaya comes over to Sakuragi and asks, "What are you doing? I never read those instructions." "There's no need for so many books since I'm here, I'll teach you myself." And off they go outside, but Sakuragi crashes into a tree. Kushigaya tells her, "Come on, you have to try again and fly quickly or you'll fall." Sakuragi tries again and again, but each time she fails and crashes into the wall. She apologizes to Miss Kushi for not learning yet and says she wants to read the instructions first. The scene then shifts to the leader, who asks Sako if she needs anything. She says yes. She wants to study all the instructions for the broom. And so Sako began her journey of intense learning, diving into the books day and night. All she could do was traditional studying, because after all, she was just an ordinary girl. After several days of preparation, we see Kaii running quickly, asking about the boss, and the staff informs him that the boss has just left. Kaii then tells them that there's a dangerous mission scheduled for 4:30 p.m., and it's assigned to both Kosi and Sako. However, this creature is less threatening than the one they faced previously. Everyone wonders why Sako's name is on the mission list, considering she's still a beginner. At that moment, the leader walks in and admits that he was the one who made the plan. Sako, feeling upset, stands up and says that she still can't ride the broom yet, as she's just a novice. But her friend calms her down and reassures her that riding the broom is actually very easy. Then the leader encourages her, saying that he saw footage of her saving Kushigaya using a magical device that had just been launched for the first time, and yet Sako understood it immediately. He adds that he's sure she's a talented girl, possessing intelligence, the ability to observe and communicate, make suggestions, and respond proactively to emergencies. He tells her that she accomplished something an ordinary person couldn't, and while she may not realize it yet, she has extraordinary talent still. The leader leaves the final decision to her, saying he won't force her to take on the mission if she's uncomfortable. At this point, Sako gets excited and tells them that she's ready and will do it. Then the leader calls out to Nikoyama, saying it's time for the transformation. Nico rushes in, thrilled because he gets to transform someone. Sako becomes scared with a look of shock on her face. The leader tells Nico to make her super beautiful. Nico runs over to Sako, grabs her, and starts crying tears of joy, saying he's waited so long for a new magical girl. Nico is the company's magical engineer, responsible for adjusting the broom's settings, transformation equipment, and providing remote guidance. But he's very strange, almost crazy. He tells Sako that her skin tone suits summer colors, that she's 153 centimeters tall, and her shoe size is 23. Then he runs to his laptop to program the transformation. Everyone is crazy. Look at the leader spinning around in circles wearing women's clothes. Then Nico finishes the task and gives Soko her transformation key, which is also her employee number. He tells her she must carry it and shout code C to transform. Soko holds the key and activates it, and sure enough, she transforms into a magical girl. She couldn't believe it, and everyone is watching her. In about a minute, she had fully transformed. Neko tells her that he's happy because he's overwhelmed by these effects. Meanwhile, the silly leader is crying, saying, "Why do these scenes always make me cry?" Everyone is crying hysterically, and Sako looks at them in astonishment, thinking what a stupid company. Then Koshi tells her that she's now ready, saying let's start our work. After that, they head outside, and Koshi explains that the wind direction in that spot is ideal and that the weather is perfect for her first flight. Everyone is watching Sako's mission from the top of the building. Sako is very excited, and then they take off into the sky like rockets or attack drones, with everyone below watching them in awe. Sako is highly focused when Neko calls her from the command center, saying he'll support her remotely. First, she must head to the extermination site, an entrance in the northwest part of the city center. As they fly, they spot the building where the creature is clinging to the walls. Neko informs them that the outer part of the building is safe for an attack, but the protruding part of the creature might retaliate, so they must keep a safe distance. Once Neko confirms that everyone has evacuated the building, he scans again and is shocked to discover someone still inside in the fourth window on the left. Kaii immediately speeds up, saying, "Let's kill two birds with one stone. I'll save the man and hit my target with ease." She accelerates at full speed, strikes her target, and uses her magic to launch a massive attack. But then a big problem arises. Kaii's broom is damaged, and Sako notices this right away. She quickly calls out to Neko, informing him of a crack at the rear of Kaii's broom. Neko checks and confirms that she's right, noticing that the broom's magic power is starting to leak. Kaii explains that this broom is an old backup one, and since Kaii's original broom was completely destroyed during her last mission, she's been using this worn-out replacement. However, Kaii has been handling it carelessly, and the extra passenger adds more weight. While it can still fly for longer periods, it's in poor condition. Kaii attempts a maneuver and successfully rescues the person inside, but she insists on continuing the fight. Neko warns her that it's too dangerous because her broom is falling apart, but she's determined to finish the jobs and tells them to relax and watch what she's going to do. She accelerates again, but the brush starts slowing down bit by bit. We then see Sako deep in thought, wondering what should I do now. She remembers when she was reading a book and said to herself, "I can do it now." But then she thought, what if I fail? What if I make a mistake and cause more damage? She then recalls the words of the leader telling her that she's incredibly talented. That motivates her even more. She calls out to Neko and tells him to make Kaii retreat immediately. She will finish the job by launching a decisive magic strike. She's read it in the books and knows she can do it now. She tells Neko the exact page number, which is 49. The sales department manager rushes to grab the book, opens the page, and Neko prepares to activate the spell. Neko then communicates to Kaii, telling her that Sako is about to launch a magic strike, so she must back off. The leader takes the microphone and orders Kaii to retreat, assuring her that Sako is brilliant and talented and will save them. Kaii steps back, and Sako unleashes a powerful strike on the strange creature, finishing it off. Kaii then captures the creature in a flash, and everyone is stunned by Sako, who is still just a beginner on her first mission. Yet she did what no one else could. Sako was so perfect that even the boss started crying. Neko asks him, "Why are you crying, boss?" To which he replies, "These are tears of joy, my boy." He looks over and sees someone else crying too, and tells him, "I cry when the boss cries." Truly, this company is crazy, but it's also wonderful. Afterwards, they all return to headquarters. Sako walks in and asks the boss, "Are you going to scold me for acting on my own?" But he approaches her and tells her she has a bright future ahead, then shakes her hand and cries again. Our episode today begins with Sakuragi meeting the director, who hands her a permanent employment contract, along with official gear and supplies. She also receives insurance, social security, numerous benefits, and incentives between missions. Besides her basic salary, she'll earn a commission based on her mission success rate, usually paid at the end of the next payment period. However, this time the director makes things easier by handing her a sum of money and rewarding her for a job well done. They both leave and Sakuragi opens the envelope, ecstatic to find a much larger amount than expected. At that moment, Hitomi approaches her and says, "I know it's tempting some, but this mission carries a lot of responsibility. Congrats on your first payment for your first day of work." Meanwhile, we see another person throwing down some money and saying, "This is all you've brought to our company in the past 3 years, only 5,120 yen. In some years, you've recorded net losses." The girl who had called for a meeting speaks, but he cuts her off. stating that his time is worth 100,000 yen per hour. Go ahead, tell me what you want. Your profits only allow you 3 more minutes. Going over that time will cost you, he says. Shocked, the girl leaves her business card and exits. The leader then orders the hiring of a new witch employee, having just fired the one working with him. The secretary tells him that this won't help improve his reputation as a boss, but he pays no attention to her and instructs her to poach an employee from another company if needed. The scene then shifts to Sakuragi and Hitomi heading out on an urgent mission to a residential area near Sususu Street. Meanwhile, the mastermind, Nico Yama, informs the commander that this time the creature is an unidentified Kaii being whose attack pattern is still unknown. He warns them to be cautious. Upon arriving at their destination, they find the creature in the middle of the residential area, unsure of its attack strength or what action to take. However, Hitomi, full of excitement, tells Sakuragi to leave it to her and rushes towards the monster to investigate. As she approaches, the creature strikes her with such force that she is sent flying. In doing so, Hitomi learns the true power of its attack. Hitomi rushes forward again and tells Sakuragi to use the Thundering Circle's ability. Just as Sakuragi begins to prepare this attack, another person steps in and finishes the job. Then, the data is quickly saved onto a flash drive. But who could this be? Dear friends, it's a truly strong girl. Hitomi quickly sprints towards her and asks, "Who are you, girl? That was our target." The other girl explains that she saw them struggling and decided to help. However, this angers Hitomi, as it means the mission was taken from them and now they won't get paid. The other girl reassures her, "Don't worry, little one, you'll still get paid." I apologize for this before hopping on her flying broom and leaving the area. Afterward, Hitomi and Sakuragi leave the scene, talking about the large Corporation Inc., the biggest witch company in the world. They pass by one of its buildings, and Sakuragi is surprised by its towering skyscrapers. But then she realizes it's no surprise, considering the company makes millions of dollars. Of course, they'd have such headquarters. Next, we see the girl who took their mission, arriving at the company's headquarters. She hands the captured creature to an employee, and we learn that her name is Sushiba, the employee with the most containment operations this month. The scene shifts again to Sakuragi at home preparing dinner while watching TV. On the screen is President Kuga from Ask Corporation, the largest company in the world. Sakuragi is shocked because it's her first time seeing him, and he immediately catches her attention. He talks about receiving many extermination requests from overseas and his plans to open more offices abroad. He also mentions his continuous research into new magical technologies, like the possibility of wide-ranging magic circles. Suddenly, Sakuragi screams as she realizes it's 7 o'clock and she's terribly late. She hurriedly dresses and rushes out the door. As she runs, we learn that there are over 500 companies in this world, 99 of which are medium-sized. Less than 10% of these companies last more than 10 years, and Magilumiere, United Witch Girls, is one of them. Later, the company calls and welcomes everyone. Afterward, Hitomi arrives and talks to Sakuragi, who is reading a book about wide-range magic circles, noting that they are low-cost and cover a vast area. The scene then shifts to the leader and Nico, who are arguing over something trivial about the colors of their underwear. At that moment, the employee Kaii enters, informing them that there's a request and that it's time for a meeting. They gather for an urgent meeting and go over the map. This is the extermination site, and this is the main street, in front of Amamogi Station. They explain there was a faint signal of a shy in the underground sewage system, and the council wants them to act quickly. However, they won't be working with other companies this time. It's just their team. Despite the large area, the Kaii creature is small, and because it's an urgent request, the client is paying only one company for the job. A wide-range magic circle could eradicate it swiftly, but the leader disagrees, saying no, we can't just assume that the best solution is a wide-range magic circle. At this point, Sakuragi chimes in, saying I believe a wide-range magic circle would be the best option. Dealing with it one-on-one would be time-consuming, costly, and risky. A wide-range magic circle would give us effective coverage up to 50 meters. For instance, there's a case study in this book. The leader is pleased to see that Sakuragi has improved and is happy with her progress. However, he reminds them that choosing an extermination method without first inspecting the site goes against their aesthetic arts. Sakuragi asks, "Aesthetic arts, what do you mean, sir?" At that moment, they receive a call from Kaii informing them that the creature is wreaking havoc, so they need to move quickly. The transformation process begins, and they all don their official uniforms and rush out. They rely on Nico, the mastermind, to track the creature's movements, but he rejects all their plans. As they make their way to the site, Sakuragi recalls the leader's words about the magic circle and how it violates their aesthetic arts, but she's still unsure what he meant by that. While walking, a large signboard suddenly falls, revealing the Kaii creature, which had left the sewage system and made its way to the water tanks. However, when they looked at the street, they found it packed with those creatures, causing a severe traffic jam. Meanwhile, we see the company leader and his secretary stuck in their car because of the congestion caused by the Kaii creature. Back to the witch girls, as they inspect the area, they find a large number of creatures, possibly over 100, and they are multiplying, emerging from the sewers. Now they plan to scan the entire area to pinpoint their exact locations. During this, Sakuragi bumps into a sign and notices it marks a 100-year anniversary sale, indicating that this is an old shopping district. That means the buildings are old, and using wide-range magic could severely damage them, causing major cracks. This would put the area in bad shape, and the workers, residents, and shop owners would be furious. They might even sue for the destruction of their properties. This means that careful planning is required before launching any final attack. The scene then shifts back to Toshiba, the leader, who says the extermination is taking too long. Maybe they're using cheap companies. Back to the witch girls, they start planning, determined not to destroy the entire town. Sakuragi shares an idea but isn't fully confident that everyone will agree. She explains the Kaii creatures move through the sewage system instead of attacking them above ground. We can use the connected sewer lines to fight them underground. That would be the best way to clear them out. Hitomi is thrilled by this idea, but there's one problem. They don't have magic suited for narrow underground sewage systems. However, the leader, through Nico's might, congratulates Sakuragi for her brilliant insight, telling her, "You're exactly what we need. Don't worry, you're truly a genius, and if we don't have the right magic, we'll create it." So, dear friends, do you think they will complete the mission successfully? I appreciate you viewing my anime recap, Unruly Family. Please let me know what you think about this anime recap by liking, sharing, and commenting. And please subscribe to the channel to help us reach 5,000 subscribers.
Take you